Do you think Gladiator was only a film about honor, blood, and Roman glory? Think again. Behind those grand, thunderous battles were real lives filled with tragedy, lives that led many of its stars into darkness. Some saw their careers destroyed by onset injuries. Others died suddenly, while their fame still burned bright, and a few spent decades quietly fighting illness. Today, let's uncover their true stories and pay tribute to the legacies they left behind. Russell Crowe as Maximus Decimus Meridius. At 36 years old, Russell Crowe transformed into Maximus Decimus Meridius in Gladiator 2000, a role that made him a living legend of modern cinema. With his cold, piercing eyes and burning rage, Crowe turned the Roman general into an immortal symbol. The film earned him the Academy Award for Best Actor, but behind that golden statue, his life began to spiral into turbulence. Russell Crowe was born on April 7, 1964, in Wellington, New Zealand, into a family that worked in the film industry. After Gladiator, the enormous fame came with crushing pressure, causing him to lose control more than once. In 2005, he shocked the world when he threw a telephone at a hotel employee in New York, was arrested, and had to issue a public apology. Still, he conquered Hollywood again with A Beautiful Mind, 2001, and Cinderella Man, 2005, earning more Oscar nominations. Behind the flashes and headlines, however, was an exhausted man haunted by perfectionism and trapped by media scrutiny. His marriage to singer Danielle Spencer began in 1989 and seemed perfect when they married in 2003 and had 2 sons. But endless filming schedules, rumors of infidelity, and uncontrollable tempers slowly tore them apart. After years of trying to repair their relationship, they divorced in 2018, leaving Crowe with a void he could not fill. He fell into depression, gained weight, suffered injuries during filming, and rarely appeared in public. By 2025, at 61 years old, Russell Crowe lives in New South Wales, Australia. He acts less often now, spending his time on music and managing the South Sydney Rabbitohs rugby team, a small source of joy that fame once took from him. His net worth is estimated at $120 million, including farmland, real estate holdings, and a luxury car collection. Oliver Reed as Antonius Proximo. Oliver Reed was 61 years old when he appeared in Gladiator 2000 as Antonius Proximo, the tough yet kind old master who trained enslaved gladiators for combat. It was the final role of his life, and also his farewell to fate. After his sudden death, the filmmakers were forced to use CGI to complete his remaining scenes, preserving his image on screen one last time. Oliver Reed was born on February 13, 1938 in London, England, into a family with a long cinematic tradition. Before Gladiator, he had been one of Britain's screen icons with films like The Trap, 1966, and Oliver, 1968, the latter earning him a BAFTA nomination. But after that peak, his life descended into chaos, nights of heavy drinking, bar brawls, and televised scandals. His severe alcoholism ruined his health and career, and the fortune he had built over decades vanished in booze and isolation. 3 marriages, several children, countless affairs, yet no one could ever hold him down. Those who loved him said Oliver Reed truly belonged only to the screen. In his later years, he lived with his 3rd wife, Josephine Burge, in Ireland, trying to quit drinking and find peace again. But the damage was already done. His liver was failing, his heart weakening, and he often collapsed from exhaustion. While filming Gladiator in Malta, one fateful night of drinking took everything from him. Oliver Reed died of a heart attack on May 2, 1999, at 61 years old. His funeral was held in the village of Churchtown, where he had spent his final years. At the time of his death, his net worth was estimated at about $5 million, including his home in Ireland and a few remaining personal assets, closing the chapter on the life of a gifted but tormented artist. Joaquin Phoenix as Commodus. At 26 years old, Joaquin Phoenix transformed into Emperor Commodus in Gladiator, a role that left audiences both horrified and heartbroken. His portrayal of madness, loneliness, and the hunger for power turned the character into a haunting symbol of corruption and pain. The role earned Phoenix his first Academy Award nomination and marked the beginning of a long internal battle between fame and the shadows within his mind. Joaquin Rafael Phoenix was born on October 28, 1974 in San Juan, Puerto Rico, to a family of traveling performers. After the success of Gladiator, he continued to prove his immense talent with Walk the Line, 2005, and Joker, 2019, the latter winning him the Oscar for Best Actor. Yet the path was anything but easy. He had to overcome deep trauma after the death of his brother, River Phoenix, in 1993 from a drug overdose. The tragedy sent Joaquin into years of depression, alcoholism, and therapy. Roles like Commodus and Joker became ways to process his grief, but also pulled him deeper into emotional turmoil. In his personal life, Joaquin Phoenix has never married, but has shared a profound relationship with actress Rooney Mara since 2016. They have 2 children, River, born in 2020, and Sparrow, born in 2024. Although they both work in the film industry, Phoenix has admitted that fame and professional pressure sometimes strain their relationship. By 2025, at 51 years old, Joaquin Phoenix lives in Hollywood Hills. He focuses on independent projects such as Eddington, 2025, advocates for animal rights, and rarely appears in public. His net worth is estimated at around $80 million, including his California mansion and a collection of luxury cars. Richard Harris as Marcus Aurelius. In 2000, at 70 years old, Richard Harris appeared in Gladiator as Marcus Aurelius, the wise, benevolent, yet deeply tragic emperor. His portrayal set the emotional tone for the story of betrayal and honor, moving audiences with the vulnerability of a once mighty ruler. Few realized it would become one of the final performances of his legendary career. Richard Harris was born on October 1, 1930, in Limerick, Ireland. He rose to fame in the 1960s with This Sporting Life and Camelot, earning Oscar nominations and winning the Cannes Award for Best Actor. However, after Gladiator, his health declined rapidly following a 2002 diagnosis of Hodgkin's lymphoma. Despite his pain, Harris heroically completed the first 2 Harry Potter films as Professor Dumbledore, bringing warmth and wisdom to millions of viewers. His personal life was turbulent. 2 failed marriages and strained relationships with his 3 sons were shadowed by his alcoholism and long absences from home. His middle son, Jared Harris, now a respected actor, once said his father was both a hero and a wound. Years of heavy drinking and cocaine use left his body frail, accelerating the spread of his cancer. Even near the end, Harris joked, "Drink will kill me, but I'll die happy." Richard Harris passed away on October 25, 2002, in London at the age of 72. He was laid to rest at Holy Cross Abbey in County Tipperary, Ireland. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets premiered just 3 weeks later, a final farewell to audiences around the world. At the time of his death, his net worth was estimated at about $20 million, including his Bahamas villa and a rare vintage car collection. Connie Nielsen as Lucilla. Connie Nielsen was 35 years old when she portrayed Lucilla in Gladiator, a woman torn between love, power, and fear. Her performance was both gentle and fierce, leaving a lasting impression on audiences. Connie's presence felt like a breath of fresh air in Hollywood, marked by her Nordic beauty and the deep emotional stillness of a woman who had lost faith in the world around her. Born on July 3, 1965, in Frederikshavn, Denmark, Connie grew up in a humble working-class family. After Gladiator, she faced the challenge of balancing her career with life as a single mother, often struggling with exhaustion. Despite this, She proved her strength by starring as Queen Hippolyta in Wonder Woman 2017 and Wonder Woman 1984-2020, earning praise for her regal grace and rare emotional depth. Her career has spanned both Hollywood and Europe, where she won the Best Actress award at the San Sebastian Film Festival for Brodra, 2004. Her decade-long relationship with Metallica drummer Lars Ulrich drew the attention of European tabloids. The two had a son together before parting ways in 2012 due to conflicting schedules. She also has another son from a previous relationship, and while she has embraced motherhood fully, she has spoken openly about the loneliness that often accompanies raising children alone. By 2025, Connie Nielsen is 60 years old and continues to work in film. She reprised her role as Lucilla in Gladiator 2, 2024, bringing her journey full circle after 2 decades. Outside of acting, she divides her time between Denmark and Los Angeles, focusing on her children and charitable projects. Her net worth is estimated at around $8 million, including her seaside home in Denmark and a personal collection of luxury cars. David Hemmings as Cassius. In 2000, at 59 years old, David Hemmings appeared as Cassius in Gladiator, the loyal aide to the emperor and a silent witness to the corruption and decay of the Roman Empire. With his dignified demeanor and world-weary gaze, Hemmings gave unexpected depth to what seemed like a minor character, evoking memories of his golden era in Blow Up, 1966, the film that made him an icon of swinging London. But when the studio lights faded, his real life unraveled in loneliness and illness. David Hemmings was born on November 18, 1941, in Guildford, England. He began his career as a child opera singer before rising to global fame as the photographer in Blow Up. Yet fame brought excess, alcohol, cigarettes, and an indulgent lifestyle that took a toll on his health. He tried to reclaim his name with the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, 2003, but by then, heart disease had already taken hold. 3 marriages, several children, and countless affairs left his personal life tangled and turbulent. Those who knew him said he loved women, but loved freedom even more. Solitude became his constant companion in later years. Family members later recalled that despite being a film legend, David remained deeply vulnerable, haunted by the fear of being forgotten. Years of unhealthy habits and worsening heart problems caught up with him, and he collapsed on set while still filming. David Hemmings died of a heart attack on December 3, 2003, in Bucharest, Romania, at 62 years old. His funeral was held at St. Peter's Church in Wiltshire. At the time of his death, his net worth was estimated at around $10 million, including properties in England and a rare vintage car collection. Derek Jacobi as Senator Gracchus. Derek Jacobi was 62 years old when he portrayed Senator Gracchus in Gladiator, a man who embodied reason, loyalty, and wisdom in a world consumed by betrayal. His deep, steady voice and calm demeanor made the character a moral anchor amid storms of power and corruption. Yet behind that composed presence was a lifetime of struggle and quiet courage. Sir Derek George Jacobi was born on October 22, 1938, in Leytonstone, England. He began his stage career under the mentorship of Laurence Olivier and soon became a legend of the National Theatre. But after Gladiator, Jacobi faced immense personal pressure as he came out publicly as gay. Though he endured discrimination and was denied certain roles, he never gave up, continuing to shine through works like Vicious, 2013 to 2016, and The Crown, 2019, which earned him an Emmy nomination. His journey made him a symbol of bravery and integrity, an artist who chose truth over comfort, no matter the cost. Beyond his career, Jacobi found enduring love with director Richard Clifford. They met in 1979, weathered decades of prejudice, and officially married in 2006, soon after same-sex marriage was legalized in the UK. Jacobi once said, "My love exists not because it's accepted, but because it's right." Even in his later years, he remains sharp-minded, reading scripts daily and continuing to collaborate with Clifford on small theater productions. In 2025, Derek Jacobi is 87 years old and lives with his husband in West Hampstead, London. Though he rarely appears in public, he is still revered in the arts as the modern master of Shakespeare. His net worth is estimated at around $5 million, including his historic English home and a collection of classic cars. John Shrapnel as Senator Gaius. At 58 years old, John Shrapnel played Senator Gaius, the loyal friend of Gracchus and one of the few voices of conscience amid the political schemes of Gladiator, 2000. His commanding presence and resonant voice left a lasting impression on audiences. Yet behind the Hollywood spotlight, Shrapnel entered one of the most challenging chapters of his life. John Morley Shrapnel was born on April 27, 1942, in Birmingham, England, the son of journalist Norman Shrapnel. Before Gladiator, he had already built a strong reputation with roles in 101 Dalmatians, 1996, and Notting Hill, 1999, and later appeared in Troy, 2004, alongside Brad Pitt. But beginning in 2017, he was diagnosed with prostate cancer, a battle that would define his final years. Even as his health declined, Shrapnel continued acting in smaller television roles, maintaining his dignity and professionalism until his body could no longer endure. His personal life was filled with both love and sorrow. He married Francesca Bartley, the daughter of legendary actress Deborah Kerr, and together they had 3 sons, 2 of whom followed him into acting. When illness came, his family remained by his side, offering comfort even as cancer drained his strength. John Shrapnel passed away on February 14, 2020 in Suffolk, England, at 77 years old, after a 3-year battle with cancer. His net worth at the time of his death was estimated at around $3 million, including his London home and a few personal assets. To audiences, John Shrapnel was more than just a supporting face in Gladiator. He was the embodiment of British grace, endurance, and humanity, even in his final moments. Djimon Hounsou as Juba. Djimon Hounsou was 36 years old when he played Juba, the loyal friend of Maximus, carrying within him the pain of slavery and the longing for freedom in Gladiator. His moving performance not only touched audiences worldwide, but also opened the gates of Hollywood for a man who had endured a harsh and impoverished childhood in Africa. From the image of a proud warrior, Djimon stepped into real life with quiet dignity and strength. Djimon Gaston Hounsou was born on April 24, 1964, in Cotonou, Benin. At 13, he left his homeland for France, where he lived on the streets and often slept on park benches in Lyon before being discovered by fashion designer Thierry Mugler. From the catwalk, Hounsou transitioned into film with Steven Spielberg's Amistad, 1997, and soon after, Gladiator made him an international star. Yet behind the fame were deep wounds, experiences of racism, limited opportunities, and financial hardship in the early years of his career. In 2007, Djimon met and fell in love with supermodel Kimora Lee Simmons. The couple held a traditional engagement ceremony in Benin, but what seemed like a perfect love story ended in 2012 due to conflict and the pressures of fame. They had 1 son, Kenzo Lee, and a painful custody battle left Hounsou emotionally shattered. He later admitted, "Divorce made me feel like an orphan again, once more without a home." By 2025, Djimon Hounsou is 61 years old and lives in California, dividing his time between raising his son and supporting charitable programs for African children. He continues to act and appeared in Gladiator 2, 2024, as a tribute to his role as Juba. His net worth is estimated at around $12 million, including his Los Angeles home and a luxury car collection. Ralf Moeller as Hagen. At 41 years old, Ralf Moeller played Hagen, the towering warrior with a kind heart who stood beside Maximus in the brutal arenas of Gladiator. The role made audiences around the world remember the nearly 2-meter-tall German actor as a figure of steel and loyalty, strong as iron, yet gentle as a brother. But once the lights faded, Moeller's real life proved just as challenging as the battles he fought on screen. Ralf Rudolf Moeller was born on January 12, 1959, in Recklinghausen, Germany. Before entering film, he was a national bodybuilding champion and a competitor at the 1988 Mr. Olympia contest. After Gladiator, Moeller continued to build his Hollywood career with films like The Scorpion King, 2002, and Pathfinder, 2007, becoming a familiar face in action cinema. His marriage to Annette, his wife of over 20 years, ended in 2013 due to work pressures and constant travel. Raising 3 children, Laura, Jacqueline, and Leon, on his own, Moeller learned to balance discipline and tenderness as both father and mother. Despite the personal struggles, he has maintained impressive physical condition, training daily, and leading campaigns promoting men's health and fitness. In 2025, Ralf Moeller is 66 years old and lives in Los Angeles, frequently returning to Germany to host programs and attend film events. He is admired not only for his strength, but for his kindness, a man who has helped many young athletes find direction in life. His net worth is estimated at around $4 million, including his home in California and a collection of sports cars. Tommy Flanagan as Cicero. Tommy Flanagan was 35 years old when he played Cicero in Gladiator, the brave and loyal friend of Maximus. Though his screen time was brief, his portrayal left a powerful impression of a noble warrior, ready to die for his comrades. But in real life, Flanagan had fought through pain far deeper than any battle shown on screen. Thomas Flanagan was born on July 3, 1965, in Glasgow, Scotland. Before fame, he worked as a DJ at a local nightclub. One fateful night, as he was leaving work, he was attacked by a gang who slashed his face from ear to chin, leaving the distinctive scars that would mark him for life. For years, the trauma shattered his confidence. After Gladiator, he threw himself into acting as a way to heal, later starring in Sons of Anarchy, 2008 to 2014, which earned him international recognition for his intense, emotionally rich performances. Flanagan married Dina Livingston and had one daughter, but the marriage ended in 2005 due to work pressure and his volatile temperament. Later relationships also failed, partly because of his demanding filming schedule and his constant fear of loss. Close friends describe him as a warm but lonely soul, always smiling, but his eyes tell a story of sadness. By 2025, Tommy Flanagan is 60 years old and lives in California, continuing to act in new television projects. He remains a beloved figure at Scottish film festivals, celebrated for his resilience and authenticity. His net worth is estimated at around $3 million, including a modest home in Los Angeles and a vintage car collection. Tomas Arana as Quintus. At 45 years old, Tomas Arana portrayed Quintus in Gladiator, the right hand of General Maximus, a man torn between honor and obedience. Though his role was small, his subtle, conflicted performance stood out, capturing the humanity of a soldier trapped in the ruthless machinery of ancient Rome. In many ways, the character reflected Arana's own life journey. Thomas Clifford Arana was born on April 3, 1955, in Auburn, California. Before reaching Hollywood, he spent years wandering across Europe, settling in Naples, Italy, where he worked in art galleries and performed in experimental theater. Gladiator launched him into international recognition, but the fame did not last long. In the years that followed, he struggled with isolation and the lack of major opportunities. He appeared in Limitless, 2011, and The Dark Knight Rises, 2012, but never received significant awards or acclaim. His marriage ended after an affair came to light, leaving a lasting emotional rift with his sons. In middle age, Arana chose a quiet, reflective life, focused on painting and meditation. Though not suffering from serious illness, years of constant work and solitude often left him drained. Still, his devotion to theater and storytelling never faded. By 2025, Tomas Arana is 70 years old and resides in a small seaside villa in Italy. He continues to act selectively, most recently appearing in Napoli, New York, 2024. Holding dual U.S. and Italian citizenship, he now spends much of his time teaching acting and writing scripts. His net worth is estimated at around $3 million, including his Italian villa and a collection of classic cars. David Schofield as Senator Falco. In 2000, at 49 years old, David Schofield took on the role of Senator Falco in Gladiator, a shrewd and cunning statesman navigating the treacherous world of Roman politics. Though a supporting character, his cold gaze and aristocratic presence made him unforgettable. After that success, Schofield became a familiar face in epic and adventure films. But behind the curtain, his personal life was filled with storms and heartbreak. David Schofield was born on December 16, 1951, in Manchester, England, into a poor working-class family with 10 siblings. From a young age, he worked in a local theater, sweeping floors, making tea, and building props, before finally stepping onto the stage himself. Gladiator opened Hollywood's doors for him, while Pirates of the Caribbean, 2006 to 2007, brought him international recognition. Although his career flourished, the collapse of his marriage left him deeply pained. He once confessed that his greatest regret was being distant from his children for many years. Still, Schofield has never lost his devotion to acting, describing the stage as the only place where I truly feel alive. By 2025, David Schofield is 74 years old and lives quietly in England. He rarely appears in the media, but continues voice acting for historical television dramas and teaching acting to young talents. His net worth is estimated at around $2 million, including a small countryside home and a vintage car he still drives to film sets. Sven-Ole Thorsen as Tigress of Gaul. At 56 years old, Sven-Ole Thorsen appeared in Gladiator as the legendary gladiator Tigress of Gaul, the fiercest opponent Maximus ever faced in the arena. With his massive frame and piercing stare, he turned a brutal fight into one of cinema's most unforgettable moments. Yet behind the image of the giant warrior lay a lonely soul, scarred by years of personal loss and quiet emptiness. Sven-Ole Thorsen was born on September 24, 1944, in Copenhagen, Denmark. Before coming to Hollywood, he was a professional bodybuilder and martial artist, crowned the strongest man in Denmark in 1983. His film career became closely tied to his friend Arnold Schwarzenegger, appearing together in Conan the Barbarian, Predator, and The Running Man. After Gladiator, Thorsen continued to work in action films, but never achieved major awards. As age caught up with him, his roles became fewer, and he found himself facing the silence left behind by fading fame. 2 failed marriages left lasting emotional scars. Thorsen once confessed, "I've lifted hundreds of kilos, but nothing is heavier than loneliness." After his divorces, he lived with his 2 dogs and wrote his memoir, Strong Man in Hollywood, a book that sold out in a single day, revealing the heart of a giant with a gentle soul. By 2025, Sven-Ole Thorsen is 81 years old, living peacefully in Denmark with his wife, Birgitta, and their grandchildren. He occasionally appears at bodybuilding events, inspiring younger generations with his resilience and humility. His net worth is estimated at around $2 million, including his seaside home and a collection of classic cars. 25 years have passed, and Gladiator remains a cinematic monument. But the lives of those who once brought it to life tell stories of tragedy, loss, and unexpected turns. Which of them surprised you the most? Share your thoughts below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to uncover more real stories behind Hollywood's brightest lights.